What's going on, YouTube? In the world of six-figure SUVs, the name that is known the most in pop culture is the Cadillac Escalade. This luxury SUV has been tearing up the sales chart since it was first launched. But there is another luxury SUV that doesn't have quite as high of a profile, the Lexus LX. These two luxury land yachts have very distinct differences and strengths, which is why we wanted to compare them today. So who wins? Stay tuned to find out. While it's not much of a consideration for people spending well over six figures on a vehicle, we will still go ahead and mention the pricing quickly. Starting with the Cadillac, we have the fully loaded Sport Platinum trim level, which gives you the most possible features and luxury. All in, we're setting at a steep $120,000. Not to be outdone, we have the absolute bougiest version of the Lexus LX available, the Ultra Luxury. That model cost even more than the Escalade, at a whopping $133,000. Now this is going to be an objective comparison. We have done our best to weigh the points awarded throughout in major and minor categories, but at the end of the comparison, we will sum up with our thoughts. With that being said, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Now, walking up to these two can be somewhat akin to wearing Gucci clothing. They are both big, bold, and fancy, and that starts in the front. They are very different though, since the Lexus has a large chrome grille, and the Escalade has blacked out everything for Sport Platinum duty. As expected, both have full LED projector headlights, but only the Escalade has entry and exit animations, and only the Lexus has LED fog lamps. Heading on around, you'll begin to see a very big departure from the two at the side. The LX comes in 10 full inches shorter than even the standard wheelbase Escalade, which you'll see later on affects cabin space quite a bit. On the flip side, it does allow this LX, which is based off the iconic Toyota Land Cruiser, to be incredibly off-road capable. This is one of the key advantages of the LX because it can move over a variety of obstacles easier due to its superior suspension geometry, four-wheel drive setup, approach and departure angles, and features like crawl control. It is definitely more of a go-anywhere SUV. But continuing on, both have large 22-inch alloy wheels, and you'll see boxy shapes in the rear as well. They have boldly styled full LED taillights, but only the Escalade hides the rear wiper for a more premium look and has exposed exhaust outlets. Now as far as other features, both have fully loaded mirrors, and they both have every single active safety system as standard equipment in these loaded trim levels. That being said, the Escalade does go a step further with its optional $2,000 Super Cruise system. This allows for fully hands-free highway driving on almost every highway in the US. Practically speaking, the Escalade tows slightly more at 8,200 pounds compared to the Lexus at 8,000 pounds, but that's not above the 5% required to score a point. Warranty-wise, you shouldn't have to worry about either option as they have long warranties for luxury brands that match each other. The only difference is that Lexus includes one more complimentary maintenance visit. Anyway, that's the end of the exterior, but I promise there are very impressive cabins coming up. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
So walking up to the vehicles, both are obviously going to have smart entry systems to unlock the doors. But it is worth noting that only the Escalade has power running boards, which makes entry and exit easier due to the width. Now glancing inside the interiors of these two, you'll see very different design themes. The Lexus has a more traditional look, and the Escalade a more tech-filled look. Regardless though, both are incredibly luxurious, and that starts with the seats themselves. In both luxury SUVs, we have elaborate quilted semi-aniline leather seating, which is one of the nicest grades of leather. Of course, they are also heated, ventilated, have memory functions, and are highly adjustable. The Escalade has more adjustments at 16 ways versus the Lexus at 14, And it also has power massage, which oddly the Lexus only has for the rear seats. Now breaking down the bigger point of overall material quality, these two both impress, but it's the Escalade that shines brighter. While Lexus and Cadillac include extensive use of leather, real wood trim, and metal, the Platinum Escalade includes a leather-covered dashboard, which is soft-touch plastic on the Lexus, plus a special suede headliner. Like I said first, getting into the cabin, the Escalade is more tech-filled, and you'll notice that as soon as they start up. Even though the Lexus debuted later than the Cadillac, they have gone with a more traditional tech arrangement, which for the gauges is an 8-inch display, whereas the Escalade uses a 14.2-inch digital gauge cluster, part of an overall larger 38-inch curved display. That also allows it to have an AR camera and night vision capabilities, and both have large head-up displays. Both SUVs also have heated, leather-wrapped steering wheels, but only the Escalade has a leather airbag cover. Next up is the evaluation of interior storage, where, as you might expect, both excel. In addition to a lot of storage, each model has surprisingly opted for the cool box console refrigerator to keep your drinks cold. Past that, the Escalade has the advantage with a pass-through center storage area and a wireless phone charger, which is deleted for the ultra-luxury LX. Both have easy-to-operate shifters, and when you shift into reverse, they both display 360-degree camera systems. For the climate controls, we do have some differences. The LX has an extra zone for 4 total, and the climate concierge system, which automatically decides to activate things like your heated and vented seats and heated steering wheel. Now if you like music, you're in luck with these two. Both systems are absolutely phenomenal and some of the best you can get in any vehicle. But the Escalade has the edge with its elite sound, plus metal speaker grills and speakers in the headrest. I mentioned it a little bit ago, but heading into the displays, we have some big differences. The Lexus has a 12.3-inch upper screen paired to a 7-inch lower display. The Escalade, meanwhile, has a curved 38-inch OLED display setup, and the main infotainment system itself makes up 16.9 inches of that. That's a 31% advantage in screen real estate. Fundamentally, beyond that, they are both similar, since they have integrated navigation and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Up above, both have rear camera systems, and strangely enough, the LX600 doesn't offer a panoramic sunroof, so the Escalade will have the advantage there. Now as we go to the back seats, you will see the tables turn. They don't call the LX the ultra luxury for no reason. This is the model that has executive rear seating, which, for now at least, is not something available on the Escalade. That means in place of regular captain's chairs, we have full power recliners. In place of the gap between the seats, we have a storage console, and in place of regular climate controls, we have a tablet that can control the infotainment system and audio system. Speaking of devices, both models have rear entertainment screens, but only the Lexus includes a rear wireless phone charging pad. The LX also has rear sunshades, which is something the Escalade doesn't offer. Both seats are heated, but the LX also has ventilation, and they even give you a massage. Now while the exec seating stuff makes things ultra plush, it actually reduces the legroom, which is already significantly less than the Escalade. But on the ultra luxury, you automatically forfeit a third row completely, which means the Escalade will score a point here. Other versions of the LX do have a third row, but regardless it is going to be smaller than the Cadillacs. Moving around to the back of the cargo, both have hands-free power tailgates. but only the Escalade can pop the rear glass independently. Once open, the Escalade's extra length pays dividends, with the max cargo capacity being much larger. So now let's take this fight to the streets and see how they stack up there. So throughout this comparison, there have been very few things these two have in common, and under the hood is not one of them. The Escalade, at least until the full electric model comes out next year, is sticking with a traditional 6.2-liter V8 with 420 horsepower. The Lexus, on the other hand, has made the move to a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, making 409 horsepower. It is down slightly from the Cadillac on both horsepower and torque, but by less than the 5% margin to score a point. And according to both our experience and Motor Trend's instrumented testing, acceleration is very much equal.
And there is 60 miles an hour in the Escalade Sport Platinum. Now, of course, I probably don't have to tell you what's under the hood of this Escalade, because you probably already know just by the sound of it. It's a pretty iconic motor. It's, of course, GM's 6.2-liter V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, and of course it does need quite a bit of that power to get this big behemoth up to speed, but as you can see there, it definitely does a good job of getting it up to speed. Alright, there's up to 60 miles an hour in this all-new Lexus LX 600. We're looking at a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 under the hood, 409 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque, so certainly really healthy power numbers. That's actually more power than what the previous LX 570 model had.
As far as the transmissions are concerned, both have 10-speed automatic transmissions that are nice and responsive. Power is put to the ground by four-wheel drive systems, and we already talked about the differences in off-road prowess that the LX has.
It never gets old accelerating in the Escalade, that is for sure. But I was accelerating there to show you how good the 10-speed automatic transmission is. This is one of the best transmissions that we've sampled. Having 10 gears, it obviously has a lot of gears to switch through, but you never feel it switching gears at all. It's absolutely seamless. Now, another thing I wanted you to notice there upon that acceleration was what transmission we have on board. We have a fantastic transmission on board with this LX600. We're looking at a 10-speed automatic. We've sampled this out. Like Drew said, it is a similar powertrain to something like a Toyota Tundra. We've sampled it out earlier in the year, and this is just a really good transmission.
Now, even though the LX is designed to stray from the beaten path, the fact of the matter is that both the Lexus and Cadillac will likely be spending most of their time on pavement. As far as the street ride quality, there is a substantial discrepancy here, since the Escalade has both the excellent magnetic ride control system and an air suspension. Its ride is very isolating, while still having good control when going around corners. In comparison, the LX only has adaptive dampers, which means its ride quality is much more truck-like, and you feel both small and large bumps inside of the cabin.
And as far as your ride quality is concerned, that's obviously something that this LX600 really focuses on, and the ride quality is absolutely superb with this model. I mean, it is a large luxury SUV. You have really tough competition in terms of your ride quality, and it does a really good job. The seats are really nice semi-aniline. These are some of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat my butt in. That said, you do not have an air suspension, so I do think the suspension is a little bit rougher riding than something like an Escalade. As far as the ride quality is concerned for the Escalade, we're just cruising along going 50 miles per hour, and I think that this is really one of the most noteworthy things about this vehicle's driving experience is just how smooth it is. This Platinum model does come standard with the air suspension, and as with most air suspensions, it does a absolutely phenomenal job.
It's also important that luxury SUVs are very quiet, so let's get into the sound level readings. We tested these two SUVs on the exact same stretch of road in Kentucky, and the Escalade came out quieter. Decibel readings are on a logarithmic scale, and the smallest difference an adult can usually discern is 1 decibel, so no points will be awarded here. So this will be a good time for us to go ahead and get our sound level reading once we get up to back to 55 here.
Okay.
So we got 55.4. Oh, it's not moving from 56.2 decibels. That's going to be. Finally, when it comes to fuel economy, the LX's smaller engine allows it to achieve 17% better fuel economy at 19 combined versus 16 combined. So there you have it. The Escalade is the objective winner. But now it's time to talk about who should be your winner. The Escalade should be your choice if you prefer the more premium cabin finishes that it offers. Also, if you're a big audiophile, because that AKG audio system is truly one of the best audio systems in the entire auto industry, period. And then, of course, as equipped, this model did actually come with a third row as compared to the LX. But even when the LX does have a third row, it's still going to be smaller than Escalades.
Yeah, and the LX would be your choice if you really value the real off-roading capability that it has. This, of course, is a vehicle that's based on a legendary platform that's very good at off-roading. So if that matters to you, the LX is definitely your choice. Also, it has a very executive rear seat experience. The Escalade really is lacking in the rear seat features. It only has heating, and that's pretty much about it. And the LX has a lot more features going on, massaging seats, those types of things. Additionally, if you're one of those people that really cares a lot about long-term reliability, the Lexus LX is probably going to be your better choice. Now, we want to know your opinions on the matter. Are you taking the Escalade or are you taking the Lexus LX? Be sure to comment down below which one you would choose. And also, if you're not a part of the Car Confections family, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you allow us to make more comparisons like this, as well as our other types of video content. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.